Confession time. While I have read this fanfiction before, I have never read the unrated edition of Chapter 3. In fact, I didn't even know it existed until not long ago, and when I found out that it was so readily available, I knew I had no choice. I simply had to read that monstrosity for you. And just to give you an idea of what my expectations are, because I'm sort of going into it blind in a way, I mentioned that the first two chapters were read at a particular Speed Gamers marathon. This one, even the PG-13 version, was too explicit and obscene for them to read on the stream. So, yeah, I'm fucked! God. I really don't want to do this. I really don't. But I always finish what I start, and I have no choice. If I am to get to the finish of this story, I am going to have to read this, even though even the PG-13 version was a wretched abomination that completely went against everything Metroid is, or at least was prior to Other M. But no, even factoring in Other M, this really transcends the amount of suck that Other M provided. And I'm going to read the unrated edition for you guys, even though, as I said, I don't want to do it, but I gotta do it. I gotta endure the pain for your entertainment. Here we go. Chapter 3. Samus is... How am I supposed to pronounce this? Pregnant? Pregnant? You know your typos are horrible when you have no idea how to pronounce them. Anyway, I'm just gonna say pregnant because it's just gonna be a lot simpler. Chapter 3. Samus is pregnant. Hello, people! I received some requests for the extended edition of Samus is Pregnant, so I decided to post it as a standalone story. Yeah, because that's the thing about the unrated version, is that at the time you had to email 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 if you wanted the unrated edition. But apparently she got so many of them that she decided to post it on fanfiction.net anyway, which just begs the question, why didn't she just post both versions to start with? But is there anything in this fanfiction that makes sense, even stuff that's not related to the story? Yeah, my point exactly. Also, I will soon post a special of Sleepover of Surprises soon. Oh wow, she actually spelled surprises right this time! So be on the lookout. That special edition of Sleepover of Surprises, thankfully, never happened. So, that's that, I guess. This is rated M for sexual content, so do not read unless you are legal and you are old enough. Redundancy much? Thank you! No, fuck you! Samus is Pregnant, the unrated edition. Oh God, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Okay, just breathe. In and out. Okay, I'm zen. Let's proceed. Samus and Ridley had been going out for 6 months now. No, I'm not zen! Why am I reading this? Samus and Ridley for 6 months? Seriously? It was a coincidence, so not only did you butcher the spelling, but you also used the word in a totally wrong context, considering that most teenage relationships exist for 2 months, according to a video. Of course, if you if you exclude Taylor Swift's teenage days, the average might go up all the way to 2 years, but that's not the point. Everyone was really surprised, back to spelling surprise wrong, because they hadn't expected the relationship to last so long. Well, of course! Ridley killed Samus's parents! Ugh! Not even Sames or Ridley thought it would last so long, and that says things. Right now, Samus and Ridley were at Ridley's house. Ridley's parents weren't at home because of a business trip. Yeah, again, with the business trip excuse. Though, could you imagine for a second if Ridley was at home with his parents? Ridley! Come and do the dishes right now! Could you imagine that kind of thing? Then again, we got to see what Darth Vader's mother was like, and it's really underwhelming, as was the entire movie, but that's not the point. So where was I? I'm so focused on trying to get out of this that I'm having trouble to keep up with what I've read or not. Okay, because of a business trip. And Samsu, she just can't spell Samus or Ridley right to save her miserable life, can't she? Didn't have to be home until 1 o'clock. Right now, it was only 11:30. They were on the couch, and it was quiet. So, Samus, what do you think of, world politics? Ridley made conversely? Yeah, that's another thing about this fanfiction that many of you pointed out in the comments, is that 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 seems to be allergic to the word said. I mean, sure, varying your vocabulary so that you don't always say the same word is nice, but at the same time, sometimes you can use words as simple as Ridley said, for example, just so you know you don't end up using the wrong word in the wrong context. Ridley, I don't care about things like that, Samus asserted, further proving my point. Ridley admitted, further proving my point about wrong context. There was a kind oif silence that happens when people don't know what to say to each other in a relationship. But Ridley has something on his mind. No, I can't do this. I need a break. One Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. Fuck it! Samus, Ridley approached. Yes, Ridley, Samus question answered? God! These humorous mistakes are the only thing that could get me through this at this point. You know how, well, we've been going out for a long time, longer than the average, and, well, I agree, Samus nodded. With a K, of course, because we can't have a word properly spelled in this. Well, you know how, you see, Ridley seemed unholy. Unholy. This sounds like something straight out of Viet Crystal with the context. Ridley seemed unholy. There is a spirit in the forest. Don't serve the devil. Ridley, I understand what you mean, Samus understood. Samus, are you sure about Ridley started, but it was too late. The train had started to rule, and it was impossible to stop. Teen hormones are a problem, and they can lead to more than is bargained for. Samus and Ridley found out the hard way. Samus hugged Ridley and kissed him on the lips. Wait, Ridley has lips? Look at any picture of him and try to find lips. He's always got his teeth bare in a way that suggests that, well, Ridley isn't properly equipped for kissing, if you understand what I mean. Then Ridley kissed her back. Samus then proceeded to take off her clothes so that she was now naked. Once again, epic redundancy. Ridley did so as well. Ridley had clothes? Have you ever seen Ridley with clothes? I mean, did he take off his skin or something? And for that matter, Ridley always sort of looked skeletal to me in a way. So that means he wouldn't have much to take off even there. God. There was a second because it was awkward to not have any clothes on in front of your significant other. Sorry, I'm having trouble reading because of all the misspellings, but I'm trying to read them as is because it's part of the charm of the story, or lack thereof. Ridley, are you sure about this? Samus nudely pondered. God, this is so poorly written, I can't even nitpick on new things anymore because I'm just repeating myself at this point. But Ridley answered by kissing her neck, and by that I mean leaving all kinds of tooth marks on it. Samus could not take it anymore because there was much sexual tension. She grabbed O2 Ridley and started to sex him up. Now, I know perfectly well why this is unrated and the other one is PG-13. This was not there before, and I don't like what I'm seeing! Ridley was going insane and could barely handle the pressure. This continued until they broke down all barriers and began to have sexual intercourse. Didn't they already get started at this point? What do I know? I have never been one for erotic fiction anyway, so, And for that matter, how do you think intercourse would work between these two? Because as I've said a million times before, Ridley's a fucking giant compared to Samus. His member must be about the size of Samus herself, so how does that work? Unless, of course, we have just unearthed the secret that Ridley never wanted anyone to know. Ridley has a tiny penis! And why am I sounding so cheerful all of a sudden? Oh yeah, because this story is driving me insane! I have never read such an abomination in my entire life. I mean, I haven't read 50 Shades of Grey, but even 50 Shades of Grey has to be some kind of literature compared to this. But then again, 50 Shades of Grey was rejected from fanfiction.net because it was that bad, and this wasn't. So, is this better than 50 Shades of Grey? Note to self, never ever fucking read 50 Shades of Grey! Because yes, I think we just found a worse love story than Twilight. Samus and fucking Ridley. Ugh! They love made for 10 minutes, but it was over far too quickly than it had started. Too quick for comfort, as Samus was soon to learn. The hard way. Oh yeah, this is another one of the things of this fanfiction where she separates sections of a chapter with a line of ones. Instead of something less aggressive, easier on the eyes, like a line or so. No, it's just a whole bunch of ones. Because her name is 111, Samus Ridley Forever 2006? I don't know, and I'm not sure I want to know either. Regardless, this particular line of ones can only mean good things, because this probably means that the sex scene... God, I can't believe I'm saying that in a Metroid fanfiction. The sex scene is finally over, and we can hopefully move on to something else. But I've seen the rest of this fanfic, and it won't let you move on. It's going to keep haunting you with this crap until the very last character. And then it's going to linger on your brain for the rest of your life. This fanfiction will never, ever let you move on. Samus and Ridley will be remembered not for the awesome games they were in, but for this wretched pile of vomit.